Hey everybody, two Alpha Gals here. I'm Debbie Nichols.
And I'm Candace Mathis, and you're listening to In the Tall Grass, where we're sharing stories of reinvention, resilience, and rediscovering joy.
Whether it's facing Alpha Gal syndrome or any other redefining chapter of life, we all have to learn how to navigate the journey through the tall grass. So here we go.
This episode is sponsored by Insect Shield. As we say in many of our episodes, living with allergies means facing tough choices every single day. And with Alpha Gal, just going outside means possible exposure to the very thing that triggered our allergies, ticks. But we choose to live aware, not in fear, and Insect Shield helps us do just that.
Insect Shield now makes it even easier for you to send in your clothes for professional treatment with their prepaid Easy Packs. And professional permethrin treatment lasts longer than do-it-yourself. So send in your favorite gear, suit up, and get back outdoors.
Check out insectshield.com for more information on their EPA-registered products and use code 2ALPHAGALS, that's TWO Alpha Gals, to save 15% on your first order. Your purchase not only saves you money, but it also directly supports the work we're doing at 2 Alpha Gals.
Hey, everybody. So we get so many questions on a daily basis about just basic lifestyle things, whether it has to do with medication or diagnosis or treatment. So we thought we would start this brand new little Tick Byte series called One Question, One Expert, Two Alpha Gals. So what we've done is we've taken one of our question and answer sessions from YouTube with an expert, and then Candace and I are going to chat about it for a few minutes afterwards. So today we're starting with a question that we asked Dr. Sarah McGill, a GI specialist down at UNC. Roll the tape.
If a patient has been diagnosed with IBS, should they also be tested for alpha-gal syndrome?
Sure. So irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS, is a clinical diagnosis of abdominal pain and diarrhea that's frequent, happening at least a couple times a week. And it's been going on for a while. And because alpha-gal can manifest with very similar symptoms, patients with alpha-gal may meet that diagnosis. So I think it does make sense for patients with a diagnosis of irritable bowel syndrome, particularly those who live in an alpha-gal prevalent area, to get tested. And if positive, to do a trial off of mammalian meat and see if their symptoms get much better.
Okay, so this was a question that I think resonated with both of us because we were both kind of loosely given an IBS diagnosis at some point. I know that was one of the first things when I went to a GI before I was diagnosed with my wheat allergy 16 years ago. She said to me, it looks like IBS. It looks like this. It was like this loose thing. And I see it all the time now on social media where people are still navigating IBS, but yet they're still running to the bathroom, on medication or however, whatever diet they're on, but they're still struggling. So, I think this gave us an opportunity to talk about how we almost pooped our pants on a daily basis.
Which we've been dying to talk about for 5 years now. But it's the truth. I think it's hard to wrap your head around that feeling of, several times a week having a very upset stomach until you've lived that and you start to think that it's normal.
Yeah.
My doctor did diagnose me with IBS a couple of years before my actual alpha-gal diagnosis. And that's scary. The idea that you're going to live forever or for who knows how long with stomach issues, with stomach upset, with bathroom emergencies, like that's a really scary thought. But I think the upside to this is that once we got our alpha-gal diagnosis and we cut those products out of our diet, things got better with that piece of it, with the GI piece of it, relatively quickly, or it did for me anyway. It was within a couple of weeks that I was like, oh my gosh, this is a much more normal way of living, not having to race home from the grocery store hoping that I made it to the bathroom, right? Which is hard to talk about. It's an embarrassing thing, right? It's an embarrassing thing to talk about bathroom emergencies, but it's a thing that's happening to our community on a regular basis. And so even though it's a scary thing to give up meat and dairy and all these things that can trigger an alpha-gal reaction, it is so much less scary than living in fear of pooping your pants.
Yeah. Well, and I look, I run our social media account and I see some of these pretty, I don't know what the right word is, these influencers that have a ton of followers, and it's like they've normalized their IBS, which I get it. You want to be normal no matter what your diagnosis is. But with the research that's starting to emerge from Dr. McGill, from, of the GI variant, it's like now we want to shout it from the rooftops that anyone that's dealing with IBS should get this test, which I think Dr. McGill just confirmed. Test, find out. If you're not dealing with alpha-gal, great. But if you are, you could still be, eating or around different triggers that are causing you to be in this reactive state. And it's terrible. I mean, I look back and I think every day I was praying that I wouldn't get pulled over for speeding, getting home from dropping my kids off from school. And it's like, because I had dairy in my coffee, or I had butter on my toast or whatever, like, it was awful. And I feel so bad for people that are dealing with that, and maybe they just don't have the proper diagnosis yet. So
yeah. And I wish we had a solution for every person who had IBS, right? Who's been diagnosed with IBS, because to me, this alpha-gal diagnosis in a way feels like a solution, right? It gave me a solution. I figured out what I needed to take out of my diet to stop those IBS symptoms. And I know, really sadly, that's not the case for everybody with IBS.
Right.
But if you are living with IBS symptoms and you haven't been tested for alpha-gal, like Candace just reiterated, it might be worth getting that test, because there might be something you can do about it just in changing your diet and lifestyle.
Right. Yeah. Test, don't guess.
Test, don't guess.
And please let us know if you get tested and things start to shift in a positive way for you. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear about your journey. And we're excited to do this new little series of us diving into an expert answered question.
And for now, if you're looking for answers to common questions, check out our YouTube channel, where we've asked a lot of these questions and have answers for you from the experts.
Until next time. Thank you for joining us today on In the Tall Grass. Visit us at 2alphagals.com. That's TWO alphagals.com. Or you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at 2alphagals. If you enjoyed listening, please leave a review and help us grow this community.
We're all faced with obstacles on our journey, whether it be food allergies or tick-borne diseases. You might outgrow the reactions, but you won't outgrow the person you become. Ticks suck, but life doesn't have to.